Good evening, I'm Ces Oreña Drilon.
And I'm Pauline Verzosa.
The big stories tonight, just 2 days after former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested and flown to the Netherlands, people closest to him are in hot water. Digong's partner, Hanilet Avancenia, and former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea could face charges for trying to block the ICC warrant.
And during the chaos of Duterte's arrest, the names of two top cops stood out for different reasons. We speak to them both tonight, CIDG Director General Nicolas Torre and former PNP Chief and now Senator Bato de la Rosa.
And we also check on the man of the hour, Rodrigo Duterte, now in the Netherlands. And later in the program, our very own Gretchen Ho takes us to the detention facility where Digong will stay while awaiting pre-trial. The PNP is now preparing charges against the partner of former President Rodrigo Duterte, businesswoman Hanilet Avancenia. That's for allegedly assaulting a special action force personnel during the arrest of Duterte. That incident was caught on camera. In this video released by the PNP, it shows that Avancenia hitting a female SAF trooper or SAF trooper squarely on the head with her phone. As a result, according to the police's account, the lady officer sustained a big lump on her forehead and had to be hospitalized. According to PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo, while they understand the Duterte family's emotions, it's not acceptable for them to hit officers as they were not even using force when they issued the arrest warrant against the former president.
We exercise maximum tolerance po at wala pong nasaktan sa hanay po nila. Nandun po sila sa paligid po ng ating dating Pangulo, so kailangan lang po silang iigilid, iset aside para po makalapit po yung mga pulis po natin na mag-a-assist po kaya sa ating dating Pangulo.
Now, aside from that, the PNP is also mulling to continue the obstruction of justice complaint against former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea. That's after he tried to prevent officers from arresting the former president. He was actually supposed to be arrested already by the CIDG, but Medialdea appealed to join Duterte in the plane to The Hague due to his health condition. Medialdea is one of Duterte's legal counsels.
Bitawan mo ako. Ayan sir, bitawan mo lang ako. Artist ako. Bitawan mo ako. You are under arrest for obstruction of justice. What's up, please? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Even CIDG Director Major General Nicolas Torre had physical and verbal altercations with the Dutertes during the former president's arrest and temporary detention at Villamor Air Base. He revealed receiving threats from the ex-president himself. And we now speak with Major General Nicolas Torre about this. Good evening sa inyo, General, and welcome to The Big Story.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo, ma'am. The two beautiful ladies. Magandang gabi po sa inyo at sa mga tagapakinig. Naku po, parang ang itim-itim ko sa gitna ng dalawang mapuputi.
Belated happy birthday po on that fateful day. How young are you?
Opo, maraming salamat, ma'am.
Ayaw sagutin ni General kung ganong kabata siya. But let's go to the matter at hand. General, when Hanilet Avancenia hit the SAF officer, what time was this po? Was this when the former president was being transferred to the coaster to be brought to Villamor, or was this when he was being brought to the plane?
15 minutes before he was brought to the plane, to the coaster. That will bring him to the plane. Mga 15 minutes lang yun kasi after that, after the violent attack, I already told the president that this has to stop. Kasi at the end of the day, dadami lang ang masasaktan. Ganun din naman ang sumatotal dito, sir, sabi ko. Sasakay ka rin naman sa aeroplano eh. Hindi naman tayo titigil dito habang hindi kayo naisakay sa aeroplano. So, tapusin na natin to. Dahil unang-una, natapos na rin ang hiningi mong 30 minutes na palugit. Exactly 7:30 yon. Nang humingi siya ng last na palugit na 30 minutes. Kaya pinagbigyan ko. Sabi ko, sir, sige, 30 minutes. And it was already around mga 8:15 nang nilapitan ko siya uli at sinabi ko nang, sige na, let's go. So ito na, naging violent na si Miss Abansenia plus yung anak niya. So we have to separate them and make sure that they won't obstruct anymore the passage of former President Duterte.
Were you also at the receiving end of any violence or any
Assault.
yes, assault?
Oh yes, during the process, napakaraming mga sinabi si President Duterte doon. Well, mga veiled and direct threats actually. There was a time na direct threat talaga ang sinabi niya habang nakaupo pa siya dun sa sofa sa gilid na I will be sued by his children and his other family members. So, okay lang. It's not a problem. I just listen to him and tell him, yes sir, I do understand that. I'm fully aware of that.
Physical po, physical.
Physical wala po. Si Hanilet lang ang nag-show sa akin doon sa maliit na pasilyo papunta doon sa bedroom kung saan sinet up ang kanyang booking process sana, yung mugshot at saka yung mga pang fingerprint na mga gamit.
Which never happened?
Which never happened. Yeah. Pinagbigyan na lang namin, sige na lang. Anyway, at the end of the day, the ICC will take custody of you. It will be your mugshot will be taken, your fingerprint will be taken for records purposes. Hihingi na lang kami through official channels.
Is that a flaw, though, in the process that this was skipped?
Admittedly, that's something that is not skipped under regular circumstances. Kaya nga sabi ko sa kanya, kay former PRRD na, alam mo sir, sa dami nung nahuli ngayong araw na to, March 11, sa iba-ibang parte ng bansa, sa iba-ibang paraan at sa iba-ibang mga kaso, may mga nahuli rito by virtue of warrantless arrest, may mga nahuli by virtue of the service of warrant, gaya mo, at may mga nahuli by virtue of an implementation of a search warrant. And all of them, I'm very, very sure, all of them underwent booking process, brought to a medical facility to be examined, which in your case, doktor na, a medical facility na ang dinala namin sa'yo. At ang booking process ay dinala namin dito. Nakaupo ka sa upuan ng presidente na dati mong upuan yan. May iba na hong okupante dyan.
That was very noticeable that he was sitting in a presidential chair
Yes.
despite being under arrest. Pero did he head straight there? Was it like, he was used to it? A matter of
Come
course?
again? Did he what?
Para hubang sanay na sanay siyang doon maupo at dumiretso siya doon.
He's very comfortable in the place because he knows the place very well. He was the president for 6 years and gamit niya ang lugar na yon every time he flies.
General, balikan ko lang po yung sinabi nyo kanina na humingi ng 30-minute na extension o palugit ang dating Pangulo before you were taking him to the plane. And I believe that conversation was recorded and posted online. Humihingi yung dating Pangulo ng 30 minutes kasi parating daw po ang kanyang anak, ang vice-presidente na si Sara Duterte. But she wasn't allowed to enter Villamor or speak to her father even though siya raw ang magiging legal counsel daw ni Mr. Duterte. Can you explain, General, bakit hindi nga po ba pinayagan pumasok si VP Sara?
Hindi po yun ang 30 minutes. Ang 30 minutes po ay 7:30 to 8 p.m. Okay. Yung pagpupunta niya, pagpupumiglas siya doon na gusto niyang papasukin ang kanyang anak because sabi niya, she's not only my daughter but she is also my counsel. 30 minutes na palugit na naging 2 hours nga. So I really have to put my foot down because it's already beyond what's necessary and beyond the agreed time.
So all the delay, the 12 hours, you said it took all of 12 hours, was not because of any clearances that needed to be made for the plane to leave, etc. It was because of what you termed delaying tactics of the Duterte camp.
Well, kombinasyon na yun, Delaying tactics, may mga papeles na dapat ayusin. I'm really not privy to the plane's condition. I may have glimpses, but I don't have first-hand knowledge kung kung totoo ngang may delay because of administrative or operational requirements doon sa eroplano. Pero sigurado ako, hindi talaga napaakyat agad si former President Duterte sa eroplano sapagkat napakarami ng mga legal requirements na and obstacles na mga unreasonable na ibinigay niya sa amin at ng kanyang mga abogado.
How did you stretch your patience, General?
Sanay na po tayo sa ganyan. Iniisip ko naman retirement ko 2027, kaya kahit umabot hanggang 2027 to, sige, maghihintayan tayo rito. Pasensya lang at mangyayari ito bago ako mag-retire.
So General, paano ho nakumbinsi ang dating Pangulo na sumakay sa eroplano? Because from the videos, parang hindi naman po siya nag-resist. There was no resistance as he was boarding the plane. How did you convince him?
Yes. I think the thing that convinced him eventually is that when he saw that I'm already serious in imposing and applying the necessary force to bring him to the plane. I told him, Mr. President, if I have to bodily carry you, I will bring you to the plane. And
would have
mapapagod lang ho kayo, you will still board the plane no matter what. Kaya sinimulan ko, inaresto ko si E.S. Medialdea for obstruction of justice and brought him to the bus. So nang bumalik ako, dinala ko ulit ang poses ko, isusunod ko na sana yung isang niyang abogado, si Attorney Delgra. Sinabi ko, Attorney Delgra, please sir, umalis ka na dyan, otherwise, ikaw ang isusunod ko. And I'm very, very serious about this. So, thankfully, umalis si Attorney Delgra at pagkatapos ng pinahawi ko na yung asawa at anak, ay nag-soften si President Duterte. Dahil nakita niya na seryoso na ang sitwasyon. And in fairness to him, and with all the credit goes to him, he spared his family of all this heartache.
Would you have had to handcuff him as well if things did not proceed the way they did on March 11?
You mean President Duterte?
Yes.
I don't think there will come a time that I will handcuff him. No, of course not. I don't think I need to do that because I can bring him to the plane. Pag wala lang makikialam na iba, I can single-handedly bring him to the plane and without any handcuff. Wala rin siya magawa dyan dahil bibit-biting ko lang naman siya.
Pero that would have been very undignified, so I guess that was, would you say that was
Of
the
course,
reason?
of course. Of course, it will be. Of course, no doubt about it, it will be. It won't look good on me, it won't look good on him. Everybody loses in that scenario, and I thank him for seeing that scenario and avoiding it. So everyone need not go through it.
Okay. In the end, you did not, you allowed former Executive Secretary Medialdea to board the plane. So take us back to how you brought him to the coaster, handcuffed him, and then how did he get back to boarding the plane and without any handcuffs? Because we didn't see that public. I mean, the public didn't see that.
He was in the bus together with the former president. And the slot is actually for, the seat is actually for Hanilet Abansenia. Yun siya ang nakalagay sa manifesto. So, siya ang nakalagay sa flight manifest.
But,
however, we got word that Hanilet is unwilling to travel for whatever reason. So I asked the president who are the other people who wants to accompany him. He did not give a definitive answer. I offered the seat to former E.S. Medialdea.
And General, kayo po ay humingi ng paumanhin sa publiko dahil sa special treatment, quote-unquote, na ibinigay niyo daw po sa dating Pangulo. What do you mean by special treatment, General?
I'm getting bashed for that actually sa statement ko kanina sa isang interview sa akin ng umaga. Kasi nga naman, hindi rin naman lahat ay natutuwa doon sa special treatment na naibigay sa kanya because sabi ko nga, how many people were arrested that day on March 11 for various offenses? For without warrant, with warrant, implementations of search warrants. Maraming naaresto ho. And iisa lang ang talagang naaresto ng alas 10 ng umaga, naaresto. Alas 10 ng gabi, wala pa sa detention facility or there's even no process of, the process of bringing him to the detention facility or surrendering him to the court has even not started yet because he is sitting in a very comfortable chair, a chair for the President of the Republic of the Philippines, for the incumbent. And the medical processes na required ay dinala na sa kanya. The fingerprinting and the mugshot process, the booking process, hindi pa nagagawa. So, very, very special ang treatment na yun. Kasi kung under ordinary circumstances, natapos na yun . So, special talaga. We bent backwards. Basically, pinagbigyan ang lahat ng kanyang kahilingan except yung iilan nung dulo na dahil talaga napaka-unreasonable na.
Were you in constant touch with Chief PNP and Malacanang? To whom po
Not
kayo
Malacanang.
nag-report?
I'm in constant touch with the Chief PNP because he was there in the background with us. He was there in the background. I told him, sir, that let me run this operation. Considering that I don't think that nakakahiya naman sa sarili ko. Ako'y nahiya sa sarili ko kung ang Chief PNP ko pa ang isusubo dyan. Although he is more than capable of doing this himself.
Pero naiinip na po ba sila?
Come again?
Doon po sa pangyayari, nainip po ba dahil 11 o'clock na, past 11 na nakalipad ang eroplano na lula ng dating
Yes,
presidente?
obviously, everybody's already asking me kung kaya ko pa ba ang ginagawa ko at alam ko pa ba ang ginagawa ko dahil talagang ayaw umalis at mag-bulge ni former President Duterte. I'm telling them, sir, patience lang, patience. Patience is a virtue. Yun lang. Kasi at the end of the day, pag nagkapersahan dito, I believe that everybody will lose.
How do you not lose your cool in a situation like this when the pressure is so high on you to deliver?
Hindi lang halata, nangitim na nga ako .
Siguro dahil pala biro kayo, sir, kaya ganon.
Naman.
But
Kahapon medyo maputi pa ako . Nangitim na nga ako, tingnan nyo.
ano po bang update na lang po dun sa charges na ipa-file kay Hanilet Avancenia and the former Executive Secretary Salvador Mejaldea?
Pinag-iisipan namin ng team, ng legal team. Sabi namin, sige na lang, pagbigyan na lang natin, ipagpasa Diyos na lang natin yan at patawarin na lang natin. Ang sa akin, personally, it's not a problem already kay ES Mejaldea. He can charge me with legal arrest if he wants to. Pero I'm ready to answer that. Kasi ang dapat kong ginawa talaga sa kanya, in-inquest ko siya . Pero, under the circumstances, may discretion naman ako na, sige, direct filing na lang sa ginawa mong yan. Hindi na kita arestuhin. File na lang kita
But
para
then again, on the other
masaya
side of
para sa lahat.
On the other side of the coin, General, dyan kayo nababash nung ibang parte naman na parang you're bending over too much. It's hard. It's a tough balancing act that you have.
Okay lang, ganun talaga ang buhay. We cannot please everybody. We tanggap ko na yun na talaga we cannot please everybody. Tapos yung mas serious nga, yung pulis na napukpok ng cellphone, nagkaroon ng pagkalaki-laking bukol sa ulo. Sabi ko sa kanya, sige, pag-isipan niyo kung gusto niyo ituloy o hindi. At the end of the day, at least may remembrance ka sa trabaho yan, meron ka ng battle scars kung if you want that.
General, what about the threats that the ex-president made on you? Are you planning to take action doon po sa mga threat na yon?
Marami na ako natanggap na threat yan. Si Baste nga, dati gusto niya akong sampalin . Kaya sinabi ko na lang threatening somebody is a different thing. Making good of the threat is another thing. So, I'll just wait for it. Kung may gagawin nga sila, and I'll just answer it. Wala namang problema doon.
Okay, and General, we're just going to ask an update also. Is the National Police still under heightened security alert status? Are you anticipating any political unrest in the coming days or weeks?
Well, unang-unang nakikita natin, this is but a normal police operations. Lagi naman ang police ay naka-alerto sa lahat ng mga bagay, merong ganito o wala. Kung ang sinasabi ng mga political unrest, lagi namang sinasabi niyan, depende kung sino ang pakinggan mo. Basta tayo naman ay naghahanda lamang for any eventuality. At the end of the day, all I can say is that we're still a democracy. Anybody is free to express his or her own opinion, as long as it is done within the bounds of the law. Okay po sa amin yun. Wala akong problema doon. Babantayan pa kayo ng pulis para masigurado that your right to express yourself will always be free and free from any harassment or prevention or obstruction from other people.
In general, totoo po ba nga may mga pulis na balak daw mag-resign or nag-resign na? Any disgruntled members of the police force? Gaano po katotoo yun?
Sa ngayong araw na to, wala pa namang natatanggap ang aming Directorate for Personnel and Record. Nagsasabi na meron nga ganon. May nababasa tayo sa internet, may nababasa tayo sa mga social media platform, pero wala pa naman kaming confirmation regarding that matter.
And finally, General, there may be other forthcoming arrest warrants to be issued by Interpol. And are you prepared? What happened here was you're deputized, no, by the Philippine Center for Transnational Crimes. Is that the correct way of putting it?
Let's just cross the bridge when we are there. Parang mahirap naman pangunahan kung ano ang sasabihin ng Interpol, ano request ang kanilang ibibigay sa amin regarding.
Was that you were deputized by the PCTC?
Yes, we are requested by the PCTC to assist them because PCTC has just
Is the one
few
that
personnel
deals-
because basically it's just a coordinating center para siyang point of contact lamang ng Interpol. Ang tawag kasi sa PCTC, isa sa mga trabaho nila sa Interpol is they are acting as the National Central Bureau of the Interpol.
Well, General, March 11 will be remembered as a very historic day, but for sure for you, an unforgettable birthday.
Yes po, definitely.
Marami pong salamat for joining us on The Big Story, CIDG Director Major General Nicolas Torre.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but coming up next, some surprises in the recent Pulse Asia survey for senatorial preference. We have the details of that when The Big Story returns. Stay with us.
You're watching The Big Story here on One News. Circling back to our top story, let's get an update from The Hague in the Netherlands. And joining us live from The Hague is Gretchen Ho. Gretchen, go ahead.
Good noon to you, Ces, Pauline. We are currently outside the Scheveningen prison here at The Hague, Netherlands. And what is happening behind me is ES Salvador Medialdea trying to get inside the detention facility to visit the former president. Hindi pa siya makapasok, kasi sabi, ang naririnig natin ay nag-send daw ng email request this morning to be able to do that visit. Pero ni-refer sila dito sa detention facility. So, nandyan pa si AS Medialdea making some calls. Wait, ayan. So, nandun yung team nila, nasa likod. Pasensya na kung naka-blur, I-ano ko lang, para makita ninyo, Yan. To, there you go. Okay, this is it.
We can see it, yes.
Okay, that's the team of Executive Secretary Medialdea, the appointed legal counsel of President Duterte here in Netherlands. accompanying him. And alam natin na itong araw na ito, yung nakatakdang araw na pag-uusap ng mga abogado. At sinabi nga nila no, na tatangkain nilang bisitahin si former President. Kasama na rin si VP Sara. Pero sa ngayon wala pa si Vice President Duterte. Siguro bumabiyahe pa mula sa Amsterdam papunta dito sa The Hague. Ilang train rides din yon. Pero I think they're trying to get through the legal processes of obtaining that visit. Kanina pinag-usapan namin, Ses, Pauline, kung sino ba ang pwedeng bumisita dito kay former President. Wala naman nakalagay na very specific doon sa sa rules nila na immediate family lamang pero nakalagay yung diplomatic at consular affairs ng Pilipinas pwedeng bumisita, ang spiritual minister ng Pangulo pwede ring bumisita, pagdating sa medical professionals meron naman sila sa loob. Tapos, ito, I guess the legal team of the president, they're trying to seek clearance still on being able to obtain that visit. Pero sa ngayon, napakita mo na natin, kasi medyo,
Gretchen, are you allowed to
pa naman,
also enter
nag-aanday
the
pa naman lahat.
facility?
Meron ba kayong
Gretch, are you also allowed to enter
Yes.
daw? Or bawal lang mga ordinary citizens or members of the media?
Naku, bawal. Hindi nga kami pinapayagan na pumasok dyan. Nakikita mo yung floor area na yan. Bawal na mag-video dyan. So lahat kami nandito sa labas. Actually, iba-ibang network to nandito na kami. Tapos may mga supporters din ang dating Pangulo na nandito. Merong mga, ayan na si mukhang papasok na. Si
Secretary Medialdea, is that him right there at the
Yes,
reception
that's him.
we're
That's him
seeing?
right in the middle.
And
There you go.
yung mga kababayan nating nakikita dyan sa may pintuan, are they supporters or members of the media or sino sila?
Ito, meron tayong mga supporters na kasama dito. Hi lang. Ito, mga pro-Duterte supporters. Galing pa raw silang Germany. Belgium. Oo, mag-isa. Nagtipon-tipon sila dito. Ayan. Show support to the former president. O mga sila, nakatira na sila dito. Mga Pilipinong nakatira na dito. Mga ilang oras po binyahe po ninyo? 2 hours by train.
Request po ng mga pulis ay atras daw po.
Okay.
Doon sa buo na yan. Kasi po hindi nila actionan yung request daw po ni ES Medialdea nang nakikita po kayong nagbi-video daw po.
Okay.
So yun po yung ibigay niya.
Palayo na kami. Oo.
I really can't comment.
The difference here is
Lang po yung request ng mga pulis. Kapag nakikita niyo po yung ganyan.
Gretchen, who is speaking now to you guys? Okay.
Yun, we have to get a hold
we'll
of
double-check
the
with that,
identity
Gretchen,
of the one speaking, but he's part of that team. No?
Okay.
Hindi namin sigurado kung ano po yung pangalan niya. Pero yun nga, no, dito kasi iba kasi yung proseso nila dito sa The Hague, sa the Netherlands. Hindi katulad sa atin, nakikita yung, parang video kasi tayo. Pero dito, kahit kahapon napansin na hindi man lang natin nasilayan si former president nung siya ay dinala sa detention facility. Kaya nga may mga iba tayong kababayan nagtatanong, nandiyan pa talaga siya? So, tinanong ko sa lawyer na si Attorney Gilbert Andres. Ang sabi niya, nako, Gretchen, iba kasi yung patakaran nila dito sa Netherlands. They're into keeping things private, making sure that they don't cause much of a fuss. Kaya yung mismong pag-video namin dito ay napakahigpit.
Well, Gretchen, speaking of the process, sinabi ni Philippine Ambassador to the Netherlands na si Eduardo Malaya na si Mr. Duterte, the former president, hindi na daw dadalhin nga sa kahit anumang local Dutch court at na-turn over na nga lang diretso mismo sa custody ng ICC. Yun ba yung tamang proseso? Bakit parang na-skip na yun?
Actually, yun nga yung pino-point out natin kanina, no? Kasi mukhang from the Philippine authorities, siya ay na-endorse na right away to ICC custody. We don't know what happened in the middle of that. I guess that was from when he landed on the plane kasi technically nasa jurisdiction siya ng Netherlands. Tapos dapat maglo-local court pa yan, tapos ipapasa pa sa ICC. Pero mukhang na-fast track, ano? Hindi natin alam kung meron silang special court for that, but I think we have to get a hold of an ICC spokesperson. Sa ngayon, ang narinig pa lang natin magsalita, si Prosecutor Karim Khan. But things are very fresh and people are figuring things out, such as the Executive Secretary himself on how to get inside. So, marami pang mga katanungan, Paulina, no? Pero tama ka doon, mukhang diretso mula sa Philippine authorities ay napunta na siya sa ICC custody. Ngayon, pagkatapos nun, bago mag-pre-trial phase, meron kasing initial proceedings. So sa initial proceedings, he will be made aware of the charges that are being laid down before him. And doon, ipapakita rin sa kanya yung kanyang mga karapatan. And he has actually the right to request for an interim release, meaning pansamantalang pagkakalaya from this penitentiary. Although, to be able to get that release, he has to be able to make sure that he is not, number one, a flight risk, that number two, he is not going to interfere with the investigation. Number three, is not going to be a risk to the safety of the witnesses and the victims. And then number four, that his detention will not cause continuing crime. So if he is able to satisfy the four provisions na yon, he might be able to be granted that interim release. Yun nga lang, ang sinabi rin ng ICC sa kanilang warrant of arrest ay hindi sila naniniwala na magre-respond itong kampo ni Pangulong Duterte sa summons. And he will not be persuaded to come here to participate in a trial via merely that. So, by keeping him here, they're also assuring that he will participate in the trial. But before we get ahead of ourselves, there's first a pre-trial phase right after the initial proceedings where they will determine the identity and then also ilalabas yung side ng prosecution at ng defense. And the pre-trial chamber will determine if the evidence is enough to get to the trial phase. Sabi ni Attorney Gilbert Andres, who is lawyer to the victims, they are confident, very much confident that this will lead to the trial phase. Kasi nga, pinulido muna yung mga ebidensya bago nilabas yung arrest warrant. No? Kaya medyo tumagal-tagal. Inasahan natin yung arrest warrant last year, but it was released this year, and the ICC kept saying that they wanted this to be foolproof.
Gretchen, you earlier said that Vice President Sara Duterte and her brother, Congressman Paulo Duterte, are expected there. Any update on that?
Ngayon, wala pa tayo nakikita dito. Mukhang parating pa lang yung mga tao. Pero si Vice President ay lumapag na sa Amsterdam, sa Schiphol Airport. Hindi katulad ni Rodrigo Duterte, dito siya mismo sa Rotterdam, mas malapit yun, 1 town away. So si Amsterdam, medyo ilang train rides pa yon. Hindi pa natin sila nakikita dito. No updates yet on where they are exactly, but they are, si Esme Aldea, they are the first one that we've seen here so far. Medyo late kasi nagsisimula yung araw dito sa Netherlands.
And Gretchen, how much attention has this arrest of the former President of the Philippines gotten worldwide? I mean, sino-sino na yung mga nandyan? And the protests, the demonstrations, I understand merong pro-Duterte, merong anti-Duterte. Who comprises all these groups?
Ako, mostly yung mga pumunta rito, mga talagang OFW na dito na nagtatrabaho, dito na sila nagsistay. And marami actually ang taga-suporta ni President Duterte dito sa Europa. Kasi nga, galing tayong Rome, pumunta tayo dito, and all the way we were talking to Filipinos. And marami sa kanila naiinis dito sa nangyari kay Rodrigo Duterte. Because from afar, from here, from this point of view, habang nandito sila, habang nagtatrabaho sila, naririnig natin kanina, naglalabas sila ng mga saloobin nila, na President Duterte kept the Philippines safe, kept their hometown safe. So, meron pa, parang naiinis kasi ang pakiramdam nila, tinakas, dinala dito, and ganun-ganun na lang, ano? And they're also saying that sana sa Pilipinas na lang nilitis. So, maraming pro Duterte supporters, but yesterday there were also pro human rights supporters out here. Hindi na natin sila naabutan, but they were saying that this is justice for the victims who are also involved in the extrajudicial killings. This is a strong stance. And as to your first question, as to how this resonates with the world, this is actually the first of many kinds. Because number one, si President Duterte is going to be probably, if ever it gets to the trial phase, is the first Asian to be tried by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. Meron siya kasamang 5 sa loob na iba pang mga nasa kustodiya ng ICC. None of them are Asian. I think most on the list are African. Tapos, this is also the first time that a non-member state, such as the Philippines, is also going to be tried. But, syempre, alam naman natin, the debate when it comes to that, na nung mga kaso na iniimbestigahan nila ay under the jurisdiction pa rin ng ICC. At pangatlo, this is very monumental because of the challenges that the ICC is going through currently with the U.S. sanctions and also the non-compliance of other states when it comes to other arrest warrants issued, for example, to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant from Israel. Meron kasing mga hindi na sumusunod sa paghuli na yan, kaya many of those granted arrest warrants remain to be, ito si ES Medialdea, saglit lang ha.
Gretch, is the former executive secretary granting any interviews? Na-try mo na bang makausap si
Yes,
ES?
Surat.
Ayan.
Let's listen in.
I asked for the name of the hospital. Up to now, they have not given us the name of the hospital. So we took the position that he could have been brought here directly, and we are told that there is no President Duterte inside the facility. We are at a loss of this time, and lokohan na to. I think this is part of their grand plan, no? To kidnap the president, to extract the president from the Philippines, and brought to a jet without known destination. I was even forced to join the plane without any valid visa coming here.
Sir, can we expound lang when you said that there is no President Duterte inside?
They're
Who said-
telling me that there is no Rodrigo R. Duterte inside this facility.
Okay.
But
You requested for a visit today and it was approved, sir, right?
we have requested the ICC for a visit because they do not disclose what hospital he was brought to. And we assume that he was brought here last night after the training. That's all I can say as of the moment.
Is it possible he is in a hospital somewhere?
I hope he is in a hospital somewhere, but not in this facility.
He is allowed, according to ICC regulations, any detainee is allowed to communicate. Has he communicated to any of
None.
zero, sir?
We don't have any opportunity. We don't know where he is right now.
Oh.
He doesn't even have his medicines with him.
Pero doon po siya sa ambulance sumakay.
Sinakay siya sa ambulance, binigay lang namin yung mga records sa kanya, and sabi he will be well taken care of.
Right.
And we will be informed immediately of the name of the hospital. But hanggang ngayon, nakakalungkot ganito ginagawa nila.
So, Sec, what's the next step? What are the plans?
We are going back to the ICC and ask them where he is right now. Because a family member is waiting here to see him.
Yes.
Kasi-
How is the vice president?
She's waiting.
Okay.
And I would assume the president would want to see one of the members of this
Yes.
family at this point
Sec,
in time.
the vice president wants to see him Is there a schedule for her?
That's what we are arranging, but we are at a loss where he is right now.
Okay. So, how about you, sir? Alis muna pa ba kayo?
Alis ako dito. Hindi, pinapalabas nga kami.
Oh. Oh my God.
Anong gusto nila gawin? Standby ako dito, yung lamig-lamig.
Ano po yung response nila sa inyo nung nag-request po kayo for a visit?
Wala. Ayan. Wala daw, request for a visit dito.
Oo.
Wala daw ano dito. Walang preso by the name of President.
Oh,
Sir, hindi yan totoo kasi nandoon sa Pero sir, the embassy said that you're allowed a visit. Ano kayang pinagmumulan nun?
Hindi. Ano yan? Right ng accused yan.
Opo.
To be by counsel.
May schedule sila Thursday. So parang definite.
I don't know them. But ako, as far as my understanding of the law is, he has the right to counsel anytime.
And you're acting as an official.
One of the counsel, and they don't even recognize my appearance here.
Nasa na po si VP Sara sa ngayon?
No, she is right.
Hindi pa po kayo nagkita.
Nag-usap lang kami sa telepono, pero wala pang until So,
Alright.
tapos na.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you po.
All right, Gretchen. Where will the information come from as to the whereabouts of the former president?
Alam ko talaga wala doon. Wala doon. I'm sure hindi.
Naghiram lang ako. Mabuti malalak sila dito.
Sige po, ingat po.
Okay, thank you. Hello?
All right, Gretchen. Where
There
will
you
that
have it.
information?
Saying to us, himself sharing with us their concerns over where the former president was taken after the plane landed. Actually, yun nga yung narinig natin, kinakwento natin kanina, na hindi nila sigurado kung nasaan nga ba si Rodrigo Duterte. Kasi nga, doon daw siya, sabi nga ni ES Medialdea, sinakay siya doon sa ambulansya, pero hindi nila nakita yung ambulansya, pumasok sa penitentiary. At sabi rin niya na ang response sa kanila, there is no detainee by the name of Rodrigo Duterte inside this penitentiary, and they will get clarity from the ICC right after being here. So again, hindi nakapasok si ES Medialdea. There's no clarity over what will happen next if the visit will take place, what the rights are. So yun ang ano natin. Alis na sila ngayon. Si VP Sara wala pa rito kasi nag-aantay pa raw ng advice kung anong pwede nilang gawin.
All right, thank you so
Tatanungin
much.
muna natin, Ses Pauline, sa ating sa ICC at saka sa embassy kung ano na yung mga kaganapan kasi kagabi sinabi ng embassy that they already gave assistance to the former president by way of giving him clothes, winter clothes, a change of clothes, and also a visa, 15-day visa for his counsel, attorney, and former executive secretary Salvador Medialdea. He's also yung aides din niya, nabigyan din ng visa rito, yun ang assistance ng Philippine Embassy. Pero sa ngayon, again, we are confounded by what's happening. The ES telling us that he doesn't know where the former president is. If he is indeed here, it is a mystery. But as of now, alam natin na nasa custody na siya ng ICC. We need to get clarity on that on the next hours. In the meantime, yun muna dito sa Netherlands. Ses, Pauline?
Thank you so much, Gretchen. We'll be, of course, following your updates. I'm sure you'll be going around to get that information. Where is former President Rodrigo Duterte? Reporting to us live from The Hague in the Netherlands. Thank you, Gretchen Ho.
We're going to pause for another breather. The big story will be right back. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us here on The Big Story. You know, that was very, I mean, that story was breaking
It was
as
breaking,
we were
Seth.
speaking to Gretchen.
So the question is, well, as far as ES Medialde is concerned, is where is the president? They've taken him to a hospital, but they don't know which hospital. And ES Medialde also said no, na any detainee is entitled to communication, but they haven't spoken to the former president. So they are looking for him right now in Netherlands.
We'll be hearing developments on that soon enough. In the meantime, 60 days to go before the midterm elections on May 12, and we have another survey in our hands. Senator Bongo shares a top spot with ACT-CIS party list representative Erwin Tulfo in the latest Pulse Asia survey conducted February 20 to 26. Go ranks higher than Tulfo by 2 percentile points. Experts say Tulfo's disqualification case may have affected his ranking. Among other top senatorial preferences are former Senate President Tito Soto, Senators Bong Revilla, Bato de la Rosa, and TV host Willie Revillame. Also in the Magic 12, broadcaster Ben Tulfo, former Senator Manny Pacquiao, Senators Lito Lapid and Pia Cayetano, and Makati Mayor Abby Binay. Rounding up the list are Las Piñas Representative Camille Villar and former Senator Ping Lacson. Senator Amy Marcos has not made the top 12 for this particular survey. And according to Pulse Asia, 38% of respondents have a full slate for the 2025 elections, while the rest will not be voting for the complete 12 candidates. The survey was conducted via face-to-face interviews with 2,400 respondents. It has a plus 2% margin of error at a confidence level of 95%.
Of course, the national and local elections are happening against the backdrop of the International Criminal Court's arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. And now the Supreme Court has started acting on remaining petitions challenging its legality. The tribunal has decided to consolidate Congressman Paulo Duterte's latest petition for habeas corpus, certiorari, and prohibition with 2 similar petitions from Pulong's siblings, Mayor Baste and Veronica. The court also ordered Malacanang and other executive officials to show cause within a non-extendable period of 24 hours on why the writ of habeas corpus may not be issued for Duterte. And recall that the first petition filed by attorney Israelito Torion for both Duterte and Senator Bato de la Rosa has already been junked due to failure to establish clear grounds. But then the Department of Justice has maintained that it will keep cooperating with the ICC on warrants issued over crimes committed while the Philippines was still a member nation. Meanwhile, Philippine Ambassador to the Netherlands, Ed Malaya, clarifies that Duterte will no longer be turned over to any local court. Malaya adds Digong's proceedings will all solely be before the International Criminal Court after he was turned over due to its custody. As of the moment, they are already waiting for the schedule of the pre-trial chamber hearing where Duterte will be made to understand the case against him and additional pieces of evidence may be submitted. ICC's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, who requested the arrest warrant for Duterte back in February, ensures that the former president will be deemed innocent during the proceedings unless results of the trial say otherwise.
Issuing the warrant, the judges have found reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte has committed the crime of murder. The fact that it's been executed is important to victims. It means a lot, I think, to victims.
The ICC case against Duterte remains a highly controversial issue, and the divide has become even more evident not just at home, but at The Hague itself. For our big picture tonight, both supporters and critics of Digong take to the streets to make their stand. Outside the ICC headquarters in The Hague, a supporter waves a Philippine flag, his fist raised in the recognizable Duterte gesture. Meantime, critics hold banners with statements like Digong Kulong, and one protester takes a microphone calling for accountability. Duterte's arrival at The Hague is just the beginning. As the ICC decides his fate, the world watches on and the Filipinos, well, remain divided.
All right, and that's it for the big story and for us this Thursday night. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thank you for watching. Good night.